Okay, fine. Good morning, everyone. So we had discussion yesterday about two topics, I think, encapsulation and final keyword. What is encapsulation? Wrapping the data together into a single unit. We can call it as a encapsulation. So how we achieved encapsulation? We created one class. Inside the class, we created private variables, private instance variables, and to access this instance variables, we used public getters and setter methods. Setter methods is to update the values. Getter methods to retrieve the values, to view the what is the value behind that particular instance variable. And that is only we did yesterday for encapsulation. By using this, what we are doing here, we are not allowing directly to access the instance variables. So we are hiding the data here. So data hiding we did by using this private access modifier. And also one more advantage I mentioned, if I want to write any logic for the before saving the value, if I want to add any logic, I can use this setter methods. I can add my logic here. But if you are using constructor, you cannot write your logic there. And next thing we discussed about final keyword. So final keyword, it is a non-access modifier. We can use final keyword with variable, methods, and class. If you are using with the variable, then it will become constant. We cannot change that value. Initially, whatever we are defining, that value will be there. If you are trying to change the value, it won't change. Then next thing, method. Final, if you are using final keyword with methods means we cannot override that particular method. And class. If you are using final class, we cannot inherit. So we cannot extend that in another classes. It won't allow. That is what we discussed yesterday. Today we will start the static keyword. So as of now we discussed this keyword, super keyword, abstract keyword, final keyword. This is another keyword. It's also important keyword. So static keyword. Here static means mainly it belongs to class. It is belongs to class, not belongs to object, not belongs to object. So already you know what is the difference between class and object. What is the difference here? For class, class is just a blueprint or template. It will have instance of objects, and also class will not occupy the memory. Object is a real world entity. It will occupy the memory. Every time you are creating with new code, right? That time in the JVM, it will utilize a new memory. Now statics belongs to the class, not belongs to the object. And why we need to use a static? First of all, before going, why we need to use static? We can apply static similarly like final. So final we can use with the variable, right? Class and method also. But for static, static keyword, we can use with the variable. So here variables also instance variable, not the local variable. What is the difference between instance variable and local variable? Hmm? What is the difference? Not aware of? Instance variable and local variable. Then we can use with the method. Think and tell me what is the difference between static on this one instance variable and local variable. Then we can use with the inner class. So here we cannot use with the outer class. So inner class means a nested class, class inside a class. So class inside a class we can use a static keyword to create that inner class. But normally we are creating, right, that class we cannot use static. But in final we can use abstract also we can use. And also we have one thing called a static block. In these four places we can use the static keyword. So why we need static? So purpose or use of a static keyword. So the first use case is it will save the memory. Saves memory. How means, for example, you are creating number of objects. For example, you are creating 10 objects. Then for 10 objects, 10 times it will create, it will allocate the memory inside the JVM. Now, what it will do, if you are using static means, it will create only one time. It will allocate the memory only one time. Then it will required. It will reuse that same one. We'll see the example. You can understand. And also, second point, if we have common data. So data means here what? Variables. Common data shared with all objects. So common data shared with all objects. For example, you can take students. Students all are belongs to in one school. You can take or one college. So here college name will be the same. For example, you are studying in Geetanjali Engineering College. So for Geetanjali, for example, we have some thousand students means for thousand students, college name is same, right? For everyone, Geetanjali. I no need to create every time college name for each student. We can define one static variable, then we can reuse that instead of creating every time Geetanjali like 1,000 times. So common data shared with all objects. That is this point. And the next point is we can apply, right, with the help of method. To call this method, how we are calling method? So this is my second question. First question is what is the difference between local variable and instance variable? And my second question is how we can call the method. In one class I have one method. That method I need to call in other class. How can I call? No answer from anyone. First question. What is a instance variable and a local variable?
Local variable, a variable declared inside a method or block.
Inside the method. Okay.
Instance
Then
variable is a variable declared inside class but outside method.
so class level we are defining. My next question, how we can call a method which was created in one class. How we can call method? So we need to create a object, then only, right, we can able to call. I think you are not practicing anything. You can see here, this is the method belongs to manager class. Here how I called, I created one object, then by using this object reference name manager dot calculate salary. So this method you can see class manager. So here we are discussing about a static keyword use cases. First thing is it will save the memory, and second thing is common data it will share with all objects, and the third point is for the method calling we are creating object, right? For this we no need to create a object. Without creating object, we can call the methods, but that method should define with a static keyword, then only we can call the method. Only static method you can mention, static methods, not a normal methods. So why? Because we clearly mentioned, right, static belongs to class, not belongs to object. So we can call that particular static methods with the help of class name itself. So class name dot that method. With the object means object reference name dot that method. Here static method means class name dot that method. You can see the one example here, then you will get idea. New class student I am creating. We'll create one package first, then we'll add com dot global new chain dot for static. So static is not a valid Java identifier. So it is a keyword. I think it is not allowing static example I provided. Then I will create one new class called student. So for student we have int id. So every student have one unique id. String name, then string college name. So for this, I will create one constructor. Then we will set the values. How to create a constructor? Right click, source, generate constructor using fields. Just select all, then generate. I will create one display method also. Public void display to display the student details. So this dot here system dot out dot println id plus name plus college name. Just I am providing space. Now here I am not used any static keyword. I will create a new class to test this one. Student test. I need main method. Finish. Then how can I initialize the value? Student equal to new student. One, then name, some name, then college name, for example, Geetanjali. This is a one student. Similarly, I will have some 5 student. So tell me your names, I will change here. Names. Your names also. You write it. So Zahir, Hussein, then next
Imran, sir.
Imran, Muaz. Now I will call that a display method student dot display. Similarly, student one dot display. Now we can check this one. Here you can see this is the common name. College name is the common, but we are repeating number of times. Run as a Java application. Clear it. It is printed everything 5 times. Now what I will do, instead of this, I will use one static keyword here. Static keyword. Then I will assign the value. So Gitanjali. Now I will remove here. Here also I will remove. Now here also we need to remove, because that parameter is not there now. Now you can see here, run as a. Now also we are getting same output. See, right, difference. So if we have any common data, we can share with all objects. So one time only I defined here, I am sharing with multiple objects. That is only right, I mentioned here, common data shared with all objects. Here what happened, memory saves, right? One time only it is allocated some memory. One time only it is allocated. Then it is reusing for all objects. This is clear, right? Static keyword with variable. So I will send you in chat. You can practice. First you try normal way, like how we tried initially. After that, you can try to use this one, static keyword. And the next I will give you example on method. For example, I will change this method to static. Okay, I will create new method. Public static student. Anything we will add here. For example, we can do one thing. Marks or something we can pass it, then we can call that method. Student, return type is student only. Here I am using return type. Now int marks. Invalid access modifier. Here then I need to pass the student object only if we want. Otherwise I will change this return type. Here method name I need to provide total marks. Now just a simple method only. Just we will pass some value, then it will return that one. Now normally how we can call, for example, we have this object, student object, student dot, so we have total marks, for example 100. You can see here we are getting one warning line because the static method, and read this, the static method total marks from the type should be accessed in a static way. We no need to call by using object. We can directly call by using student class itself. Now you can see no warning message. So here I am not created any object. Without creating object, I am calling the method. Then return type result equal to sysout result result. Now we can execute and check, run as a Java application. You can see it got printed. So clear, right? Without using object, we can call the static method. I will give you one more example in another class for this. So variable, we can share the data with all objects commonly. So for example, I have one class called calculator. I will have one method called public enter return type add int a comma int b, then return a plus b. This is the normal method. New class called test calculator. So main method, then I will create a object for that class. So how to create a object? Calculator reference name equal to new calculator dot add then I am printing this one. See here what happened? if you are creating multiple objects means it will create every time memory it will allocate. Now if I use that method to static means public static I no need to create a object directly by using calculator class dot add method. So 3 example 9. Then just print sys out. So simple. Run as a Java application. So 3 plus 9, 12. Clear, right? Static variable, static method. You can practice this one. Already you know how to create this type of method. Just you can use the static keyword. Next, I will tell you. So mostly static variables, static method also only we are using. Static block and static inner classes we are not using in the real time also. But I will give you one example. Just aware on that. Next, I will give you static block example. So now you can understand this one. Here, main method is the static method. So without creating object, we can call, right? Then only it will work. If the main method is not a static, it won't work. Then we have to create the test calculator object, then we can call. So this is the static keyword purpose. We no need to create a object. We can call directly. I will show you one example on static block. So static block before main method itself it will initialize. Generally we need a entry point, right? Main method is the I mentioned it is the entry point. Without main method we cannot execute our program. We cannot get output also. But for static block before main method itself we can execute. So just I am giving class name as a test. I will use the main method there inside that class. Just I will use here one sysout statement. So main method. Then how we can create a static block means just you can use a static keyword. Then this is the block. This is the static block. You can mention here. I am from static block. Now you can see here which one first it will execute. Everyone will think whatever available in the main method it will execute. But before the main method itself it will invoke. Why? Because this is belongs to class. So static block will execute first, then main method. Run as a Java. See first line which one is printed. For example, I will change the order also. First we have main method. Run as a Java application. Now also you can see. So first it will give the priority to static block, then only main method. So this is the static block example. Then I will show you this one inner class. So we will try to create a outer class. This is the outer class only, right? Static. You can see invalid modifier. Only abstract or final are permitted. So for the outer class, we cannot use static keyword. So just I will create a class name outer. So here I cannot use a static keyword. Now I will create a one more class here, class inner. So this is the nested class. I will use here static keyword. You can see it will allow. So if you want, you can use public also, anything. But here it won't allow. For inner classes, static keyword will allow. These two not that much important, but you can aware just. So for example, here we have right. So this is the class inside a class, nested class. I have one method here, void, for example, display. Sys out display. Now how can I call this method? For that new, I will create one new class. So test outer. I need main method. Here first we will try to call this one only inner. So class name should be capital letter inner class. First I will try to call inner. It will work or not, we'll check. Inner class. See, now it is not giving for me any method, because that method is not a static also. Just we can change to static, then we can check it will give or not. Now it is providing, but you see the error not saved. Now it will allow. For example, this is not a static method, then how we can call? Now I cannot call. I will try to create a object for inner class. Inner class dot display. Now we'll execute and check it will work or not. So display is printed, it's working. For example, here this is the public class. I will change to private. We'll check. So some warning is never used. Generally, we have to use with outer class. So we should not create like this object. So how we can use this means outer class dot inner, then new outer dot inner. Similarly, new outer class dot inner. So don't confuse here. Mostly we will not use this type things. Now this is not This will also work in this way also. So clear, right? Just you can test and practice. But static methods are very important. Block and inner classes, not that much important. Just you can practice this. Then next, we can have some theory related to interview questions. So first thing is static versus non-static. Static belongs to class. So they will ask means what is the static and non-static means you have to explain this difference. Static belongs to class. So common data it will share with all objects, and we can access the method without creating object. Similarly, non-static means it is belongs to object. Then we have to create a object. In each object we have to provide our value. We can access by using object reference name. Static will load one time only, but object every for every new object it will load. It will allocate memory also. And can static method, another one important interview question, this one, can static method access with a non-static variable? So here I will give you example for this, then you can understand non-static variable. So for example, you have one static method. Can static method access a non-static variable? That is the question. You have one static method, you can able to access a non-static variable. Non-static variable means instance variable. We can able to access or not, we can check. So for example, I have static method, static void display, and then here I will create a one number, name br number equal to, for example, 20. Then sys out a number. You can see here, change the number to static. So static method will not access a instance variables. If it is a static means, then it will allow to access. Clear, right? If it is not a static variable, we cannot access inside the static method. I will remove this static method. Now I can able to access. Here for this question, what is the answer is, can static method access the non-static variable? Answer is no. So in interviews, they will ask. That time you have to very careful to answer. So static method they mention. Static method, it will not access a non-static variable. So if it is a normal method, then it will access it. Just now we saw, if it is a normal method, then we can able to access inside the method. If it is a static method, we cannot able to access. It will throw the error. Clear, right? The next question, can static method access a static variable? Yes, just now we saw. static, we can able to access it. And also some questions, can static constructor we have or like that? No, we will create constructor also. Public static, see, we should not remove invalid modifier. So we cannot have the static constructors. Answer is no. So I will write here, I will send you. Can static method access a static variable? Answer is yes. Already we saw. Then can constructors, can we have static constructors? Static constructors. Answer is no. Just now we saw. Then another question is, can we override a static method? What is the answer for this? Static method. Can we override a? Answer is no. We'll see here practically. We'll create one method here. For example, void display, method name is display static method. Now I will try to inherit that one. So to override the method, we need inheritance concept, right? I will. What is the condition for the method overriding? Remember conditions for method overriding and overloading. So the class name should be the same. Classes should be the same for method overloading, and method name should be the same. Only thing parameters are the different. For overriding, first we need to use the inheritance concept here. Then next classes are the different parent and child need. Now you can see, just we can copy the same method here. Method. See, I am not getting. You can see here. The instance method cannot override in the static method from the test. Clear, right? We cannot override that method. So error it will throw. So the answer is no for this. And the next question, can we call static method using object? This one you have to tell me. Already we discussed this. Can we call static method using object? Answer yes or no. Already we saw this. No answer from your end. Already we saw, right? Then you are not listening class also maybe. We can call, but it will throw warning line. It will not throw the error. It will allow, but it will show the warning line. So you can access directly with the help of class name. Why you need to use the object like that. So if you create object means memory will allocate. Instead of creating object directly, we can use the class name itself to call the static methods. So this is clear, right? This is about the static keyword. We'll send you these questions in chat. You get. Oh, sessions, recording sessions. Yeah, we need to upload in YouTube. Then we will share that link. I will provide. I will upload and I will provide today or tomorrow. And also initially one guy asking Imran, can you explain hoop concepts? Which concept you need? So we have class, object, methods, constructors, and then inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, encapsulation. These all are OOPS concepts. Particularly, you need which concept?
Polymorphism, sir.
Polymorphism. Okay. So polymorphism, what we mentioned, polymorphism means many forms. Hmm? Poly means many, morphism means forms. Then here, why we need polymorphism? One action we can perform in many ways. So we are performing one action. Action means here behavior. Behavior means a method. So one method we are performing in many ways. So then only here we have two concepts. We can call it as a method overloading and method overriding. So we have two types of polymorphism. One is a compile time polymorphism, runtime polymorphism. Compile time polymorphism is the method overloading concept. Runtime polymorphism, method overriding concept. So what is method overloading? Conditions for method overloading? So the method we are declaring, right? It should be in the same class. That is the first condition. Then the second condition will be method name should be the same. And return type also should be the same. Method name and return type should be the same. The only difference is we can have the different parameters. Parameters will be the difference. That concept is called the method overloading. And then for method overriding, we need two classes first. So different classes. And also we have to use the inheritance concept here. We have to extend that class, parent class to child class. Then we can override that same method. Here for method overriding, method name should be the same, return type should be the same, parameters also should be the same. Then only we can achieve that concept, method overriding concept. Otherwise, if you change parameters or anything means it will create a normal method, not the overriding method. So why we are overriding that method? For example, in this class, we declared one method. That logic I required in that class only. Here I am extending that class. I want to change any logic from that method. Then I can able to change that logic. So the purpose of the polymorphism, we can reuse that method declarations. Then we can perform in many ways. That is the meaning, right? One action we can perform in many ways. So that is the main purpose. Clear? Okay. If you can practice that practical program means, then you will aware how it is working like that. If you are not practicing, you may get this kinds of doubts only. You will forget the concepts. Now we saw this one. Can static method access the non-static variables? So after practically we are doing only, we can able to remember long days. Just you by heart this question means, can static method access non-static variable? No. As of now, today you will remember answer is no. When tomorrow I will ask means, your answer will change. You will tell yes. But you practically did means, then you can remember that question. So like that you have to study. You can do practically as well as theory also. You have to, what is theory is telling, everything you have to check practically. It is, we can able to do or not. You can check practically it will work or not. Then that's all today's session. Tomorrow we will have the new topic. Maybe string I will tell you. String also important topic.